Well, hey everyone, it's Marcus, and welcome to more Zooming in the Jungle Room. Hey, if you want the biggest voice in heavy metal, if you want a titan of the industry, we've got him right now. Please, everybody, Tim Ripper Owens.
Me, I thought
Hey,
someone else was in the room. Hey, nice to see you, buddy. Nice to be
nice to
here.
see you as we wrap up this 2024 and enter our Christmas period. It's all going to be over before we know it. Um, how has 2024 been for you?
It was great. I mean, the KK's Priest, we just toured nonstop and a couple tours in America and Europe, and it's been really crazy, It's been a really, really busy year. So that's good. I mean, it's always busy for me because I'm always touring solo or recording something. So it's not much different, but it's just been a year of touring with KK's Priest, just one band, and it was so good. I mean, the band's so good, and the shows were so great. So it was a good time.
And obviously, it all started off in 1996 with Judas Priest, where you were with them until 2003. I mean, what a crazy period of your life. Obviously, that you went on and did so much more work with so many other bands, Iced Earth, Dio's Disciples, the Three Tremors, of course, KK Priest. But let's go back to the Judas Priest period. How was that insane period for you?
Oh, it was crazy and great. I mean, think about that. You just said 1996 is when I got to call, and it's almost 2025. I mean, jeez, it's like I feel like it was just not too long ago. I mean, now I'm 57 years old, and it's like, where did the time go? But you know, it was so great. I mean, I mean, it made me be able to because wasn't planning on being a musician. I had a job. I always did the music and stuff, but I always had a job and stuff, and I never planned on being a musician. Um, so it really was like my college. All of a sudden I get a call and I in Judas Priest, and it changed everything for me. And I had a great time, such great guys, and became such great friends, and it just definitely changed my life.
Mm. Of course, like we say, there's been a plethora of other bands as well, but predominantly now you're doing a lot of solo work, which is just killer. Which is, of course, why we're talking today, because you're about to do an Australian tour next year, kicking off in Melbourne on February the 14th, Valentine's Day.
Yeah.
And then Sydney, Brisbane, Adelaide, where I'm based, on the 23rd of February at the Gov, and then wrapping it all up on the 24th of Feb in Perth. That's going to be fun. So you were just telling me before that you do get to Australia quite a bit, for personal reasons.
Yeah.
What do you love about Australia?
Well, it's great. I'll tell you, we are adding on two shows at the end in New Zealand now, and hopefully we'll add some more in Australia. Who knows? But I love it. My girlfriend lives in Katoomba, which is in the Blue Mountains, and I love the area there because it's not the hustle and bustle of the cities. It's got this, it's just beautiful up there. So I get there quite a bit, and it's a small town. We'll go to Blackheath or it's just nice, but Katoomba's nice and more my speed, just kind of laid back. But last time I was there, we went to the beaches. We spent a couple days in Sydney, went to the seafood market and all the stuff like that. But um, I spend a lot of time there now, so it's great. And this is the band I have on this. Listen, Valentine's Day. Can you have anything more romantic than taking your wife or girlfriend or boyfriend or husband or whatever to go be serenaded with the song "Burn in Hell"? I mean, it's such a great romantic night. Somebody's like, I don't think I'm going to be able to go. And I'm like, oh, come on. Um, the band I have with Jordan and Joel McDonald, they're, pretty known in the industry, and Voya on guitar, on the other guitar, and Andrew Hudson on bass. I mean, I did two shows with those guys, with this band last year. Joel and I have been playing for years. I mean, probably 10 or 12 years we've been doing shows together. And they were so good. Joel and Jordan got this whole thing, last year, and they were so good, so good. I mean, it was, and when I had this time off, when I saw I was going to have time off, I said, I called Joel and I said, let's do it again. And they got the same band together, and we changed the set list around. We're doing some Beyond Fear and KK's Priest and other stuff this time, but it's really I'm excited that we're doing it, I mean, because the last time we played Melbourne and Sydney and it was packed,
Yeah.
small venues, small clubs, packed and just great. So that's when I knew we're coming back and doing this again.
Yeah. Hey, Tim, you've dropped some names already that you've worked with. I mean, you've collaborated with some of the giants, in the industry. Is there someone that you haven't worked with yet that you would love to collaborate with?
Well, listen, I always wanted to. I mean, I have done with everybody, huh? I mean, it's crazy to think about who I've been on stage with and jam with, and I'm not going to sit here and name all those people because it's just endless, endless, endless. But I always wanted to do Tony Iommi and Geezer Butler. I always wanted to sing, get Simon Wright or Vinny Appice on drums. And I've always wanted to do that because I just love, to me, the rhythms of like Tony Iommi. I used to say the same thing there's a couple guitar players I've always said. Dimebag was one that I always wanted to because of the rhythms. Scott Ian from Anthrax was another one. Zach Wilde. I'd love these kind of rhythms, but yeah, Tony Iommi and Geezer Butler would be it for me.
I'm going to throw something at you, and I can't necessarily guarantee that I can make it happen because I can't. But you know what? What could like really turn a track on its ear is like bringing Gaga into a show with you. How cool would
Yeah,
I mean?
yeah, yeah,
He would kill it with you. Absolutely. There you go.
absolutely, yeah.
Random idea. I'll give you the ideas, Tim.
Okay, give me the ideas.
Hey, let's go back to the early days when you were a child. In your bedroom, you were playing your, CDs, vinyls, cassettes, whatever it was. Who were you listening to that really led you into the love of music?
Well, my dad listened to a lot of. It was really cool because his collection was Rolling Stones and Aerosmith. Um, this is in the 70s, but also Dion and the Belmonts, which was a rock and roll, The Wanderer. Well, I'm the type of guy. Uh, Elvis, uh, that kind of stuff. Bachman Turner Overdrive, taking care of business. So he had a lot of great stuff. But for me, I think the turning point was my brother and I got Rock and Roll Over from Kiss. And in the morning, I raise my head, and I'm thinking of, and I want you. I used to sing that, and that really pushed me into loving to do it. I'd sing Elvis all the time as a kid, a young kid. I would sing Elvis, and then the biggest turning point was when I got an REO Speedwagon record, and my brother got Judas Priest Screaming for Vengeance. And I heard Electric Eye, and I was like, holy shit, what is this? And that was the turning point when I, really, fell in love with all of that kind of music. And then Dio became my biggest one. But growing up, I was fortunate, I think I still think when I go to my parents' house and I think of my dad's collection back then, of the records and Alice Cooper, Go to Hell. It was pretty cool, Johnny Cash. So it was still a lot of variety, right? But
Yep.
it was the variety, but edgy. My dad was his family was from North Carolina, and they were all country and hillbillies and Grand Ole Opry. My dad was the black sheep of the family, so he was always listening to the rock and roll. So it was pretty cool.
Hey, and then fast forward a good few years. Obviously, there was a movie that came out I think it was the early 2000s, called Rockstar with Mark Wahlberg and, of course, the gorgeous Jennifer Aniston. This movie was loosely based on your life. Did they consult you at all in regards to, how the story should go?
No. Well, originally that was a no.
Ah, Straight up.
An article came out in the New York Times about me, and that's how they got it. They bought the rights to that article, and then they wrote the movie, and they were going to call it Metal Gods. And then Judas Priest didn't like how things were going at the beginning, how they were being portrayed. So they said, we want some kind of creativity here. You're making, we don't like what you're doing with it. And the movie people said, well, no. And then Judas Priest pulled away and said, you can't say it's about us. And the movie people made it enough not about us that they didn't have to pay anybody. And then they made their own story, it is what it's pretty cool that they wanted to do it, but unfortunately they just made their own story.
Of course, like they do. Hollywood, right?
Loosely based is what they say, right?
That's the right words. I mean, said, you know what? If anyone's going to play you, I mean, Mark Wahlberg was a pretty good choice, right?
Well, it's the only time in my life I had abs, so that was. I always say when they say Mark Wahlberg plays you, I say, "What you mean, Boogie Nights?" But
yeah. Hey, what kind of music are you working on at the moment? Is there any thing planned for 2025?
Well, I work on stuff when I'm off. I don't like to take time off too much, so I always record songs for people, other bands all over the world. I'll post on when I get a lot of downtime. I'll post on social media. Hey, I got some time off the road. If you want me to guest on your record, I'll do it. So I do that, and I've done 3 this past week and a half. I've done 3 songs for people. And then I do a lot of, I'll get ready to do some touring in Australia, then Central America and South America. I'd like to work on a new Ripper. I did a Ripper EP last year, 2 years ago, Return to Death Row with Jamey Jasta. So hopefully I'll do a full length now. And hopefully I'll start working on new KK's Priest. I mean, that would be the good thing.
Damn, you are a busy man.
I stay busy. I got to pay the bill somehow.
You got to pay for those flights to Australia.
Yeah, people say, why do you sing on other people's music? There's 2 reasons. One is I'm a musician. That's what my job is. That's what I do for a living. But I love to do it. All kinds of stuff. I went 2 days ago. It was like a death metal hardcore song. I mean, it was just heavy. And now today I've been working on one that's the complete opposite, like Yngwie kind of stuff. So it's the complete opposite. So it's kind of fun.
Hey, and last question for you. What can we expect from the tour when it hits Australia and New Zealand?
Well, it's a great set list this time. We got KK's Priest in it, Beyond Fear, Scream Machine, Beyond the Realms of Death from Priest, Iced Earth Song When the Eagle Cries, a couple Dio tracks in there, Black Sabbath track. It's a really good set list. And it's funny because I said to the guys, hey, I'm going to change it a little bit this time. Is it all right? And Joel's like, we were going to suggest we add new songs. We want to learn new songs. We want to add new songs. That's how they are. So it's a really good set list. So I think the people are going to love it. The band's so good. And I mean, Jordan on the drum kit's like a Muppet back there. I mean, it's the crazy thing, but they're all top-notch great musicians. Everybody on stage is happy with everybody else on stage watching them do their thing. It's like, wow. So the people are it's a fun show. It's a fun set list and a fun show.
It's going to be a banger. Like we said, everyone, it kicks off in Melbourne 14th of February, then goes to all parts of Australia, including wrapping up 24th of February in Perth, then off to New Zealand, then maybe possibly back to Australia. We'll see. But Tim Ripper Owens, seriously, what an absolute pleasure to chat with you. I wish you all the best for a very successful and safe Christmas.
Thank you, buddy. You too.
New Year's Eve. And I look forward to catching up with you when you get to Adelaide, the Gov, on the 23rd of February.
23rd. I will see you on the 23rd.
Thanks so much, Tim.
All right. You got it.
Thank you.